guys wanted when we saw the reports was that small waist gone. So simply by just putting on just a stretch of material, it's amazing, isn't it?
That looks to me as if you got very much nearer to the perfect ideal, which is, of course, so much more attractive.
The makeovers appear to have worked. Meanwhile, a vast amount of data has been processed.
349, okay.
And the scientists are preparing for the next phase of the experiment, to predict mutual attraction.
We're looking at a number of variables and the way that they combine. There is physical attractiveness, there is similarity to oneself, and the CQ that covers a vast array of personality, social attitudes, and personal preferences.
What type of relationship would you prefer?
CQ stands for compatibility quotient. The test has been developed using happily married couples and predicts how well a couple are likely to get on in the long term.
Rather ambitious task we have here, but we would suppose that if a person showed compatibility in all of these areas, then the future would be quite rosy.
The predictions will be tested at a speed date. The scientists have selected 20 men to meet 20 women at an event which will generate 400 encounters. None of these people has any idea who the scientists have matched them with, but they have very clear ideas about what they want.
The woman that I'm looking for is someone who likes to do the household chores, cooking, cleaning and whatever.
Rich, so she can support my expensive lifestyle.
Oh, and she must be interested in sex. Well, she must like sex.
I'm looking for somebody who's not necessarily handsome, but is more striking looking. They don't necessarily have to be mega loaded. I'm not worried about that. I'm not materialistic, although obviously I want them to have a decent lifestyle. I think somebody like Richard Branson, he has all those qualities.
As the only woman to have received scientific beauty advice, Beth is in a bullish mood.
Looking as hot as I do, who knows what could happen? There might be a marriage proposal by the end, you don't know.
But will the makeover give her an edge on the competition?
Cheers! Exciting. Looking forward to it? Indeed. Yeah. Me too. To bag a man tonight.
Peter is feeling altogether more apprehensive.
I saw some of the other guys for the speed dating event when they turned up at the measuring day. They all looked younger than me. They all looked much better looking than me and much smoother. So I think I've got absolutely no chance today. I think I'm competing with some quality opposition, but we'll see.
Patrick, nice to meet you.
The competition will be even stiffer than he thinks. Among the bachelors are 3 men who specialise in the art of picking up women. They've formed a society to pass on this know-how to other men.
Never underestimate the power of the ugly girl that is next to her. Never! What you get.
Emir is a former city broker.
That's why we have wingmen, you know. You can have the wing commander that is going for the main target, then you have the wingman that is going for whatever, just taking care of everybody else. Then you have the kamikaze fighter that is going for the married girl, the ugly guy, or the boyfriend or something, It's just going to crash and burn, he knows that. You can alternate these kind of things,
These men have been entered into the experiment as a wild card. Will their techniques give them any advantage? As in a conventional speed date, the men and women meet each other for 3 minutes.
Okay, first 30 seconds starts now.
But there is a twist to the proceedings. Each table has been fitted with a gadget which enables the participants to register their positive or negative feelings by turning a dial. Before the date begins, the men and women have been instructed to sit in silence and rate each other from 0 to 100. Carl Grammer thinks that facial similarity will be decisive.
People are attracted to other people who look like themselves.
Okay, that's it.
If you have a partner who is like yourself, you're probably not getting into trouble with him so often, because you will have the same ideas, you share the same values, the same attitudes, and so on. And it looks like that people hope that somebody who looks like themselves also shares the same attitudes, values, and so on.
Dr. Grammer illustrates this principle with some well-known couples.
Arnold Schwarzenegger and his wife, two very square faces, almost identical, structured, high cheekbones. These two have the same chin, very round faces, with an almost identical nose. This is the same, very identical mouth. They also have a comparable nose, and the eyes are almost of the same form and color even.
The zoologist believes that there are genetic benefits to inbreeding, and that the men and women with similar faces will find each other the most attractive. Using special software, he has created a facial similarity index for everyone in the agency.
Match found. Match found. Match found.
So will Grant be attracted to Leanne?
Match found.
Gail to Simon? And what about Beth?
Match found.
It turns out that several men have similar faces to her, so Carl Grammer has joined forces with Glenn Wilson to identify her best match.
OK, Carl, shall we look at the faces that are most similar to Beth, and I will lay out the faces that have the highest CQ scores.
Dr. Wilson's compatibility test has identified the men with whom she has the best chance of success.
So is this our problem or theirs?
Beth is a property manager who likes to be in control.
Yeah, OK, well, can you arrange for that then?
OK.
Right, let's go and have a look inside. Hey?
In her previous relationships, she's usually been the dominant partner.
I'm independent and I'm a strong character, and men think that they want that, and they think that's great about me, and that's great when we're dating, you know, they think that's great, but after 3 months down the line or whatever, when it's a serious relationship, they realise that I'm not the kind of person they do want. They want someone who's going to stay at home and not have the strong opinions that they were attracted to in the first place, and that's my personal difficulty, but and I find that with all men and always have done.
But the scientists have identified 4 men who match Beth facially and psychologically.
How about that? That's a pretty good hit rate, considering we started with 50 people. As far as age and height are concerned, it's ideal if the male is about 5 inches taller than the female, which is about the average height difference, and it's also fairly ideal if he is perhaps 4 or 5 years older than she is. We see that on height, 3 of them are taller, so that this one goes out. And in terms of age, they're all actually younger. The nearest is this one. And his CQ is the highest of them all, so if the chemistry was right, they would get on extremely well together.
By now, Beth has registered first impressions of 8 men, and she's not easily impressed. At last, she meets Dave. Both of them, of course, are completely unaware of the scientist's prediction.
A lot of flirtatious signalling going on there. Well, the knob has gone up a little bit there, so she obviously likes the look of him. And what's he going to do? Yeah, it looks as though he's initially attracted to her as well.
It's a medium attraction, I think.
The same procedure has been used to identify Peter Kerr's best match.
Number 2? That's a hit, is it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like Beth, Peter has no idea he is facing his one scientific match.
She's a good actress. She's smiling warmly and winding him down at the same time. Let that be a lesson to all of us.
It starts now.
This result is typical of the first impressions.
She's flatlining on him.
But there's still everything to play for as the speed date proper now begins.
Time starts.
The men and women meet for exactly 3 minutes, after which the men move on to the next table.
Please move round. Please remember to reset your dials.
Afterwards, these forms will be handed in, and the participants will find out if any of their offers have been reciprocated. It's a hit-and-miss approach to finding love.
Wow, this guy likes you. I'm just joking.
But sparks of attraction are soon flying.
So what's your name?
AJ.
Simon. Nice to meet you, AJ. So, tell me about yourself.
Beth was given high scores on first impressions. But in the 3-minute conversations, she takes a very businesslike approach.
So why are you single?
Why am I single? Am I going to get to ask you anything?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
If you can get me to shut up, you can ask me. Fire in the question.
So why are you here? Why are you here?
Well, I'm over 30 and I'm single, and so my biological clock is ticking.
Right.
And,
so you're
yeah,
here
I
on
don't
a
know.
prime
I'm not
mission.
desperate. I'm not desperate. But,
Cracks are showing already there.
it's a good way. So what brings you to speed dating?
It's a long story.
We've got 3 minutes, so shorten it.
Shorten my long story.
Condense your story. So how come you stoop so low at speed dating?
Do you know
What's
why?
your problem? Look, you're a good-looking bloke, you're young.
Slow down a little bit.
Boy, she grills them, doesn't she?
Are you sure you're really...
It's clear that some people are better at speed dating than others, and knowing how to flirt certainly helps.
Yeah, can you do pastries and stuff?
Of course.
How about massages?
Always.
Foot massages?
Yes.
Okay, let's say I'm having a really tough day at work.
Okay.
So I come rolling into the door and...
You want to know?
What happens?
I would be naked.
Okay, good start.
Okay.
Well, it's easy to see what her appeal to men might be.
Members of the London Seduction Society are using a confrontational strategy.
So you appear not ever to have a boyfriend just because you can't keep them, or...?
No, I just don't appear to like anyone, really.
Oh, you're a fussy one. Have you tried girls? Yeah. We understand the game a bit better in the sense that we know that there is about 10 guys that just before us just said exactly the same thing as you. Were talking about their jobs and everything. So I was a bit teasing about my job, and when they started asking about it.
You're
an ass model.
Okay.
Yes, ass modeling is. Few people can do that.
I think.
You think?
Yeah.
And that put them a bit on an edge. So it was a good thing to see them qualify themselves and trying to, oh my God, I need to impress a bit this guy.
It certainly does look as though their strategy is to try and put down the woman, lower her self-esteem relative to them, so that they will come across looking big, impressive and dominant. But in fact, the real key to seduction is to make the other person feel good, not to diminish them.
Yeah, that's the point.
I thought you looked really friendly. I thought you were really open and friendly.
Thanks.
And I felt like I could mouth ones up.
Thank you. That is really nice. That is so cool.
After a disastrous set of first impressions, Peter's personality is making all the difference.
Ask me 3. Genre. Rock. Right, Chili Peppers are Foo Fighters. Crucial question.
Foo Fighters.
Really?
By far. I can't stand Chili's.
Where's that button?
Oh,
But can he impress his one scientific match, who scored him 0 in the silent encounters?
Very hard to recover from first impressions, so he's got an uphill grind.
Well, basically, I'm a university lecturer.
University lecturer? Wow, in what?
In politics.
Oh my God, respect!
Oh, no.
Respect.
It's not all rock and roll, you know.
No, that's respect. It's politics.
Okay, so he pulled it back a little bit there. She enjoyed the prestige of his occupation and not turned off by his politics yet. Anyway.
His status impressed him.
You're great, you are.
But I wonder what she did with that dial.
Oh, I forgot to swim
yeah. Oh, right. Oh.
The speed date has nearly run its course. Beth has been unimpressed with almost all of her suitors, and the feeling is mutual. At last she meets Dave, the one man the scientists think is compatible with her.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, I'm Beth.
I'm Dave.
Hi, Dave. So tell me about you. Right, how old are you? You're far too young for me. How old are you?
I'm 31.
Are you? God, you look so young.
How old are you?
I'm older than you.
Yes, you are.
But not...
Only joking.
Excuse me.
You don't make jokes like that. Hello, a little bit of action here. He's actually turning up on her.